Hello, it's James, and I'm here with Spug. Hello, Spug.
Hello, James. How's it going? And we've got some spoilers. It's pretty exciting. We've got a hot take from a video that WizKids announced today. They have given us some spoilers for the upcoming DC Superman Kryptonite Crisis Dice Master set, which is coming out. Well, we don't know when it's going to be coming out, but we have got a bit more information about some of the cards that are going to be in it. So, shall we crack straight on and have a
Yep.
look at the first card?
Okay, here we go. I need to press this button, and we get Superman. Four cost shield, Last Son. He's a Super Friends affiliation. While Superman is active, your opponent can't target your Lois Lane character dice. And unfortunately, you can't fill Superman unless you control two or more Super Friend character dice. And he's got his usual stat line of quite nice and tricky fielding. What do we think of that,
Yeah.
Spug?
Well, I think it's quite interesting actually, because I mean, obviously, all I think this is the first time we've seen a Superman that hasn't been six or more, isn't it? I think all the other Supermen that have been in Dice Masters so far. Maybe there was one. Was there a promo that was five
I have a feeling it might have
um,
been a five, but yeah,
from
four is cheap.
but yeah, four is cheap definitely for those stats. So I think in that sense he's pretty good. I think his main ability is pretty useless unless there is. I mean, we're going to talk about a Lois Lane in a minute, but unless there's a Lois Lane that's in this set that's so amazing that people are going to want to target her, I don't really see reasons why people would. That would be a problem if they couldn't target Lois Lane. But then, obviously, then there's that main ability if you can't field Superman unless you control two or more Super Friends character dice,
It's,
which is interesting
it's all a bit
limitation.
conditional to my mind. I think that you're paying, you're getting a limitation on the ability, so you get it cheap. But there is another four cost shield in a different set, which might be preferable to buy with similar stats, not such limitations, and Overcrush. So no,
Yeah,
Superman, no to you.
Becky Lynch. But you could misdirection. You see, I imagine. Now, I'm wondering whether misdirection would get around it, which enables you to swap a character.
Oh, in Golden, unless they bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, is it rotated out now?
Yeah, it's
Misdirection.
gone. It's gone. That was in
Ah,
Superman Wonder Woman, wasn't
oh, of course it was. Yeah, yeah.
it?
Um.
I think we
Oh
should
well.
push on. Who's next? I think
Go,
it's.
go.
Let's have a look anyway. Who is it? It is. Oh, Jimmy. And I do not like the artwork on this, but I'll tell you what it says. It's Jimmy Olsen, photographer. He's a two-cost fist, also with a Super Friends affiliation. And his text says Jimmy Olsen can't be targeted by opposing global abilities, as if you would want to. Um, underwhelming to my mind, but I suppose you could swap stats. That would be all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a Jimmy Olsen back because this is the second one that we've seen. I think, isn't it? I think there's
Yep.
only been in the Superman and Wonder Woman set that you mentioned before. That's the only other time we've seen Jimmy, and it's the same stat line. I think
Yep.
same icon, different color die. But he doesn't. This one doesn't seem particularly useful to me. The only reason we'd probably want to play him at this point is to get his Super Friends icon. If you're
Yep.
really keen on playing that Superman, and we just looked at. I'm disappointed that this doesn't have the ally keyword. If I'm honest, but
True enough. There was only one good Jimmy, and that was the one that made Was it Supermen and Women free to field and cost
yeah,
less? That's what we want.
yeah, yeah.
So try again, Jimmy. Let's move on to the next one, which is Lois. Also not an ally. We note also a two-cost fist. She's Army Brat with a Super Friends affiliation. While Lois Lane is active, your Superman dice get +1 attack and +1 defense.
Yeah.
Same dice as ever, only it's red, which is quite nice. Quite a nice picture. But,
Yeah, it's a nice picture. And actually, interestingly, this is the first, I think, Lois Lane that doesn't have the ally keyword. The only one out of all the Lois Lanes that we've seen in Dice Masters previously that doesn't have the ally keyword. So it is a bit disappointing that she doesn't have it. But I think she could be quite good compared with that four cost Superman because you can buy two of her very cheaply. Obviously, she's only a two cost, and then she also gives the Supermen that you buy for four gives them another nice little buff. So it's not a bad little. It's
better
not
than
a bad
Jimmy.
little combo pairing them together. If you're doing it in draft and you got them together in set, I think that would be quite strong because obviously you could get some big Supermen out to potentially do quite a lot of damage.
It's only a
And
+1 buff though. I mean, you can just use a buff global and use
True.
fists and you get a better buff. And that, but,
True. Yeah, she's not going to revolutionise the game, but she's not useless.
she's got the affiliation. I suppose that's relevant.
Yeah.
Let's push on.
Go on.
Next one is the Daily Planet basic action card, which we saw something. I think it was without text a while back.
Yeah.
Or it was blurry or something.
A bit of it. Yeah.
Anyway, it says it's 4 cost and it says draw 2 dice, prep up to 2 of them, and roll the remainder. Yeah, I think it was without text because I would remember that. That was quite good. So I like that. 4 cost, but
yeah, I like the fact that it gives you the choice. It's not part of that kind of evolution of the ramp basic action abilities, doesn't it? I think in the sense that if
sort of gearing up, then nasty plot, and then we got a choice with Candlekeep where it was you had to decide in advance whether it was prep 2 or roll 2, and now you can you draw them and then you can decide, and you can allocate. You can chop and change, and you can prep 1 and draw prep 1 and roll 1 or whatever. It's all right. That.
Yeah, I mean, presumably you could prep none if you wanted to. I mean, that's still within the limitations, isn't it? You could roll both of them if you wanted to immediately, or you could prep 2. Obviously, the advantage of prepping dice for future rolls is that you get to roll and re-roll them on your next turn. Whereas, obviously, if you're drawing 2 dice and rolling them immediately, you only get 1 shot. So if it's like a character that you really need, you might want to put it in your prep so you get 2 chances at rolling it next time round.
Indeed. Let's go on to the next one because it has something in common. It's also a basic action and it's investigative journalism.
Yeah.
It's a 5 cost this time, and this time we draw 4 dice, roll up to 3 of them, and prep the remainder. So it's the same sort of thing, same kind of choice, but more dice, but it's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it's Ramp City, isn't it? This, if you can get one of these out, you're getting an insane amount of value out of it if you can buy one. I mean, obviously, this one and the previous one would benefit from the Thor Global that allows you to pay a bolt and then get a 2 cost reduction on the next action die that you buy. So you could buy the previous one for a total of 3, and obviously this for 4, which makes them a bit more reasonable. I was also wondering whether you might be able to, there are some of the characters that are out there at the moment that have special abilities that kind of key off basic actions. Don't they? You can roll 1 and then sometimes you might be able to put it in your use pile if it rolls on energy or something, and kind of grab them in sneaky ways.
What about Forge? Doesn't he make action dice much? If he's energized and he makes them cost 3 less or something, or 2 less.
Does, yeah. He's the god catcher kind of
enabler,
empowerer, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, action dice cost you 2 less to purchase until end of turn. So he's not just a one shot. You could buy one of those for 3 if you got Forge on his energy. That would be pretty good.
It's always a bit worrying when you have to ramp, isn't it? So
exactly.
I don't know how much play it'll see, but it's fun. No, it's all right.
That is the key point. Yeah.
Shall we push on to I think it's the last one, and it's really the one that we're most interested in, probably. It is Harley Quinn, Bright Lights, Big City. She's a 1 cost. Yes, that's right. 1 cost mask. And she's a vanilla card, but she's textless in every possible way. The card is it's different, isn't it? It doesn't have any text or indeed any text box, and it doesn't even show you the energy faces on the dice because they're kind of obvious. That's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. I mean, this card is going to see an insane amount of play. I think basically when they did the presentation, they said this is this is the first full art character that they produced. Obviously, in the Infinity Gauntlet set, they did produce the 4 full art basic action cards. So yeah, and James, you I mean, obviously we can see the similarity with the old Morphing Jar from the Yu-Gi-Oh set that has got these insanely cheap. And if Peter were with us, he would tell us what the Homash score was, which is the kind of the value versus stats, which is going to be off the charts, I imagine, in the case of this one. And you were going to give us a bit of a demo, James, weren't you, as to how this might work?
Yeah, I think Peter might do that better than me as well, but I'll give it a crack just very quickly, because obviously this is. I mean, we don't have PXG back yet, but that might yet come if they really want to shake things up. But okay, so I've printed out myself a little Harley Quinn.
Very nice.
With apologies to anyone who might care about such things. And I've rolled 2 masks, because in reality I would never actually roll that. So this is the sort of nonsense that you could do with Harley Quinn and Clayface, the Great Enabler, and Green Lantern, which is your win con. We might read. Green Lantern says, while Green Lantern is active, your Justice League character dice gain. When this character die attacks, deal 1 damage to target player for each energy symbol in your reserve pool that matches this character die's energy type. Masks. In this case, there's also Zatanna with masks, who's also Justice League. And Clayface, well, we'll see it in a minute, but the global, if you don't know, says pay a mask once per turn. You may take a die from your use pile and add it to your reserve pool on any face.
Yeah.
So you can just do stupid stuff with that. So you buy your 1 cost Harley. Where is she? There she go. And then you can Clayface that in using your other mask, and you've got 2 more masks, which means that you can probably buy another Harley, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right. So we put that there. In fact, that's there. And then what we're going to do then, Spug?
Well, then you'd probably wait until your opponent's turn, because you'd sit on those 2, and then you could then use your Clayface again on your opponent's turn.
This time, no transition. We'll get those 2 masks in.
2. Then you can spend one of those masks and the fist that you've saved to use the Supreme Intelligence Global, which says, James...
It says... I've lost it. Oh, I moved it. Okay, it says pay 2 generic once per turn. Move a die with purchase cost 2 or less from your use pile to your prep area. Don't mind if I do. So I spun that down, and we'll pay that to move the Harley Quinn, which costs 1. Nice. And with the other mask, you could, for example... It might help to fix your bag to field a psychic. Using the collector global, which says pay a mask once per turn, add field a psychic die from your use pile. So there's just loads of useful mask globals. And then, this is
now turn 2.
This feels like turn 6 because I've done so much, but in fact it's only turn 2. And let's say we roll her to double mask phase. What are we going to do with all that, Gubbins? Well, I guess we could start by Clayfacing that one in for a start.
Yeah.
Pretty safely, and then we can buy. We can buy
Lantern.
2 more. We certainly buy a Green Lantern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a Green Lantern. There we go. And now we've got 4 dice there. We probably want 5 if we're going to use Villainous Pact, which is another mass global. Yep. So I don't know. Should we buy another one? Let's just buy another
You could buy a Harley and then Villainous Pact, couldn't you?
And then we can Villainous Pact. And God forbid if your opponent also brings Clayface. And this is what we're going to roll next turn. Okay, those
on
5
turn
dice.
3. Yeah.
On turn 3, which is going to be this. And okay, so let's see if I can roll anything. I don't know. Lots of masks.
Oh, you got the energy.
So much in the way of characters. Oh, of course. Okay, let's imagine that I didn't fluff every single roll I ever do. And there you've got your Green Lantern, who I will pay to field, let's say, and I might use my Intellect Devourer Global to field this and then spin it down to a mask, of course.
Yeah.
And I can then attack with this dude. This is turn 3.
Clayface first, James.
Oh, I can Clayface. Right, Clayface. Oh my God, it's starting to look a bit sick, isn't it?
If your opponent also has a Clayface at this point, then it just gets insane because you could do it again to bring the other Harley Quinn that's in your use pile in. Mm-hmm. So you'd have 6 masks in your reserve pool, which would just be bonkers. But anyway, carry on.
So then, we're attacking, obviously with pass priority nicely, and then attack with that, and we're doing 5 damage because he does 1 damage directly to my opponent for every matching energy die I have in my reserve pool. And then they've got to deal with that. It's only turn 3, so they'd have to block it if they don't want to take another 4 damage, which would be 9. And I can still spend these, right? After I've declared an attack during the global step in the attack step. Yeah. I can spend these on for example, Villainous Pact or Intellect
Yeah.
Devourer or other things. So yeah, I can feel some more sidekicks. It's all just a bit nasty. it's a bit horrible. I pulled out a few more cards. Obviously, this is just a little idea for you, but there's other masky stuff like Avengers ID card, which actually is quite useful. It's got a global, which is a mask again. Pay a mask. Target character die in your reserve pool in the field or field zone gains the Avengers affiliation. What use is that, you might say, on a Green Lantern team? Well, the card itself, the action says your Avengers character dice get +2 attack, +2 defense. So, if you accidentally roll your Harleys to character faces, or some of them, then you can start attacking with, your one costs. Horrible. What's she on a top face? She's a 1/4.
She's 4/4.
1/4. Good God.
Yeah.
I remember Peter Yeshko in Bratislava had a horrible team. I think it required PXG to be really horrible, but he had this and morphing jars, and so you've got basically combat damage as a backup to your direct damage strategy. Nasty stuff. And then you've got Turk Barrett. You've got all those mass globals. He does a damage to characters on your opposing side, or indeed any character, for every mask you spend on a global or I think on a fielding course.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you can clear a field like that, and then you don't even need Asker, who makes mask stuff cheaper because you've already got cheap mask stuff. Poison Ivy, it's a bit horrid. It's a bit horrid, and it'll probably be quite fun to play with. And we've got Static Field, of course, another mass global, which takes the edge off, or might take the edge off stuff like Becky and Godcatcher.
Yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting. It really, I mean, bringing this kind of morphing jar light. Oh, it's not even morphing jar light, is it? It's morphing jar extra heavy. If you had the slight bump that she's had in the stats, it's going to really does put rocket boosters under this particular build. I think we'll be seeing a lot more Green Lantern in future, just based on this particular card. And this is just one use of this. I'm sure players are going to find plenty of others. So yeah, maybe the other cards that we spoiled maybe won't see quite so much play. Certainly not the two characters. Certainly not the three characters. But this one we'll see a lot without any doubt.
Indeed. Okay. Hopefully that has given you some ideas. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe and all those YouTubey things. And see you again soon. Thank you, Spug. Bye bye.
Thank you, James. Bye.